should have knocked her in the face with my ass. I should have knocked her in the head with my bag. In the middle of the lady making the speech, a fight break out behind me between a man and a woman. Starts crying. She goes, and that's when shit gets real. Then in my head I said, pilot, do not leave that cockpit. They are going to fight you. Let me off this plane. Hello, beautiful, wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Simone Nicole here, back at it again with yet another video. And today's video is a story time. I know you guys love my story times, and baby, I did not come to disappoint with this one. But before we get into today's story time about why my dumb ass flew on Spirit Airlines, we of course have to do our subscriber shout out of the day. Today's subscriber shout out is going to go to Miss Kayla G. Kayla commented on my Where I've Been video, and she just simply said, yay, she's back. Thank you so much, Miss Kayla, for missing your girl on the platform, because I did take a little hiatus there, and for commenting and just reminding me that I am loved and missed on this platform whenever I am not on here, and just encouraging me to keep going. And if you would like to be my subscriber shout out in my next video, then all you have to do is 1, be subscribed, and 2, drop a comment, say something nice, say something sweet to your girl, and maybe you can be my next subscriber shout out of the day. Okay, I had to speed through that intro because this story time is going to be I don't know how long, and it's a hot mess. So let's just jump straight into why I will never be flying Spirit Airlines again. Let's talk about how half y'all clicked on this video because they're like, duh, why would you ever fly Spirit Airlines? It was an emergency. So basically, I arrived to the airport, stand in line, and I get up to the agent, and she asked to see my health pass, which is something you have to fill out if you go out of the country, my passport, and my proof of a returning flight. So I give her the first 2 with no problem, and then I go into my email to get the confirmation email of my returning flight. But guess who denied my transaction? Frontier did. So because of that, I had no returning flight. So the woman politely told me, basically, if you don't buy a returning flight, I can't check you in, and you have about 45 minutes to get that flight bought. Otherwise, you will not be able to check into this flight, and you will not be leaving the country. So I stepped aside and I tried to rebuy the same flight that I had bought before. I think they didn't sell it to me because I bought it for too low. I bought it for like $175. So I tried to buy it again on a couple different websites for like $200, I believe the returning ticket was, and neither site would let me buy it. But guess who had a ticket sitting there ready and waiting for me to buy it? Spirit Airlines. And let me not hold y'all. You know, when you're in a pinch, I think that Spirit is a good airline to fly to and from certain places. So imagine me at the airport in a pinch, only had a certain amount of time to buy the ticket. Spirit is just, it's coaxing me, it's calling my name. So that is why I bought the ticket. I bought the ticket, and all during the time of me being in Costa Rica, all I could think about is like, you're flying Spirit home. You're flying Spirit home. And I knew in my spirit something was wrong, but I did not know exactly how wrong this was about to go. So picture me on the day before I'm about to leave. I try to fill out my information so that I can check in 24 hours before the flight, as I always do. But what I figured out is that they don't let you do that when you're traveling internationally if you buy 2 one-ways. If you don't buy 2 one-ways, this wouldn't have been an issue. So I knew that I had to get to the airport pretty early so that I had time to stand in line, check in, check my bag, do that whole thing. I got to the airport, I want to say like a little over 2 hours before the flight left. So I'm standing in line, minding my business. I get up to the counter. The man is like taking a little bit to check me in, and then he tells me, hey, I put you on the front of the plane because your flight has been delayed by an hour and it might cause you to miss your connecting flight. You should be okay, but I put you on the front of the plane just in case so that you can make your way off the plane as fast as possible. So now I'm irritated. Okay, the flight being delayed by an hour. Yes, it's an inconvenience. I probably sound very American, wanting everything as soon as I want it right now. You know, I had been in Costa Rica for 6 days, almost a full week at that point, and I was just really ready to get back home. So I had arrived at the airport at 10 a.m. and I did not leave the airport until about 2:30. So I sat in the airport for about 5 hours, okay? Keep in mind that my day of travel started at 10 a.m. when I got to the airport. Finally, we get onto the plane and I got attitude because when I walked up to my seat, a girl was in my seat. And I politely told her like, hey, I think that you're in my seat. She literally rolls her eyes and then moves to the outside seat because she knew she was in my seat. She just didn't want to be on the outside. She wanted to be on the window. And then moves to the aisle seat and then turns her body like this for me to scoot in past her. And I just felt like that was so ignorant. Get your ass up and let me into the seat. Why are you mad at me because you were sitting in my seat? Small annoyance. I was really annoyed that I had to like squeeze past her. We all know my ass is big as hell, okay? So I'm like trying not to like swipe her across the face with my fat ass. And I should have knocked her in the face with my ass. I should have knocked her in the head with my bag while I walked past, but I was not trying to fight on the Spirit flight, child. The first flight went smoothly. Even though I was sitting in that airport for so long, the first flight went smoothly until we landed. We touched down. I turned on my phone and I look at the time and I said, my next flight leaves in about an hour. I forgot that when you come back into the US, you have to go through so many steps before you can get to your next flight. There was a lot of people on my flight that had connecting flights and all of us were concerned about missing our flights. So as soon as we landed, I called the flight attendant over and I said, hey, I have a flight that I'm trying to catch and it leaves in about an hour. And she dead ass looked me in my eyes and was like, aw, sucks to suck. She didn't say it in those words, but she was essentially like there's nothing we can do about it. I might have had a prayer or a hope if we did not sit on the tarmac for, I'm not even kidding you, 20 to 25 minutes. We sat on the tarmac for. Tell me in the comments down below if you guys have experienced this. The only time where the pilot comes over the loudspeaker and they're like, hey, we're just waiting on a gate to pull into because there's just too many planes right now. And we essentially we're waiting on a parking spot. Like we're waiting for someone to move out of their parking spot so that we can pull into their parking spot. I have never experienced this with any other airline but Spirit. As soon as we got into our little park spot, the flight attendant came over the loudspeaker and was essentially like, hey, we have a lot of people on the flight that are trying to get to their connecting flights, so please give priority to them. Let them off of the plane first as you would like that to be done to you. Child, in the middle of the lady making the speech, a fight break out behind me between a man and a woman because she's essentially like, don't push up against me. And he's like, I have somewhere to be. And she's like, I literally don't give a damn. What you're not gonna do is bum rush me. We all have somewhere to be. Me and all the other people from the plane is like, let me off this plane. Now that we finally got into Fort Lauderdale, so all of these things have happened and I just got to my layover. I am rushing through the airport. I am the first in line for everything. I'm the first in line to make it to customs. I speed through customs. Then I get to the part where you have to collect your bag. And there are so many people standing down there to collect their bags. So I find an attendant and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for my bag because I have a flight to catch. I have a connecting flight to catch. And the guy, again, looked me in my face and was like,
well, you're gonna have to talk to somebody on the other side about that because they have all of that information and they'll be able to help you out. But as far as your bags go, you have a good at least 40 minutes before your bags get to you. Because they still haven't gotten their bag. They still haven't gotten their bags. They flew in from like California, and then you guys will get your bags.
My question is, if you know that you have a full flight of people that have a connecting flight, where are your priorities, Spirit? It's giving Fort Lauderdale and Spirit mixed together and it's making like the most boo-boo cocktail ever. Finally, my bag comes down. I grab my bag and I dart into line, and then I have to show the man like my little thing that prints out when you go through customs. I gave it to him. I go past this man because there's so many freaking steps that you have to go through, because I'm hoping maybe if I cross my fingers, maybe I can catch my flight. Maybe I can catch my original flight. Because I was the first person out from off of my flight, I walked past a thing that said Spirit recheck bag. center. So in my head, I'm like, okay, that's where I go to recheck my bags. It kind of looked closed, kind of looked open, but it was just dead right there. So I like politely walked my little behind up to the counter, and it was this young man standing behind the counter. Keep in mind, I look like death. I look like actual poo-poo. I'm talking to the man and I'm telling him like, hey, I was on this flight. I need to recheck my bag. Yes, but I don't think that I'm gonna be able to make it onto my flight. So he's up there typing away, typing away. I was like, well, can I just get on the 9:55 flight? He was like, yeah, let me see what I can do. He's typing away, typing away. As he's typing away, a long line starts to form behind me because all the people from my flight have now collected their bags and they need to recheck their bags, and they were at the same time that I did, but they didn't see how empty it was when I first got there. There was one behind me and he's like, can I help you? And she's like, I just need to recheck my bag. And he was like, well, what flight are you catching? She was like, I'm catching a flight to Minnesota and it leaves now. So he was like, okay, well, hand me your bag. So he just starts taking people's bag and just throwing it on the little conveyor belt. The conveyor belt's going. He's telling me, stand right there, I got you. He won't take my bag to throw it on the conveyor belt, but he'll take all the other people's bags to throw on the conveyor belt. And I'm just like, so what's really good? This is really when it's starting to sink in. This man likes me. He wants me to be his girlfriend. Because why do you just want me to stand here whilst you take care of everyone else behind me, but you just want me to stand here? He's like, no, I got you. Don't worry, I'm about to get you together. How you gonna get me together? You gonna get me on my flight that was supposed to get me home at 10:30? You gonna get me on my flight? Because you said you couldn't get me on that flight. So how you gonna get me together? So he's like going back and forth between like taking care of me and then taking care of these people. And eventually the line gets too long. He is the only one there. And he's essentially like, look, I'm closed. He puts up his little sign and he's like, I'm closed. Y'all gotta go up to the second floor. Everybody is rolling their eyes. They're like, what do you mean? Because everyone is just as frustrated as I am. Everyone is having this very frustrating experience of, I'm going to miss my connecting flight. The conveyor belt stopped going. He said if the conveyor belt stops going, then that means that I physically cannot put anybody else's bags on here. So y'all have to go up to the second floor. So when he said that, I took my bag and I was about to walk my little ass up to the second floor because I have places to go. You just said there's nothing that I can do for everybody else. So I'm everybody else. So I was about to go. He goes,
no, not you. Not you. You stay here. I got you.
I said, because everyone's looking at me like, oh, so he got you? People start going back and forth with him, not saying like, how come you can help her and not me? But I'm just standing there like, Eventually he tells me like,
hey, I got you onto that flight, no problem. You flying into Atlanta, huh?
Yep, I am flying into Atlanta.
Oh, okay. You flying by yourself?
He's gonna ask me to do something that I don't want to do. So I already have my lie prepared. My lie, it's not even prepared. It's just second nature. He prints off all of the stuff. He gives me my boarding pass. He puts me damn near in first class. I wasn't in first class. I was like one row behind first class. So I was at the top of the plane. He gathers up everything and he was like, yeah, follow me. So he's personally chauffeuring me to the floor that he told everybody else to go to while we're walking.
Oh, okay. So who do you stay with in Atlanta?
Me and my boyfriend stay together. Me and my boyfriend, we live together. Yeah, me and my boyfriend. My boyfriend and I, we stay together.
Oh, all right.
Never brought it up again. Never asked me nothing else about myself. Nothing. I already knew what was up. Okay? First of all, you flexing, putting me in seat 4B because you work for Spirit Airlines at the Fort Lauderdale airport. That was not about to, it was not giving what I think you thought it was going to give. It did not give the intended giving in which you thought it would. He was walking me upstairs and where I'm trying to mind my business, the same people that he told to go upstairs see him walking me personally up to the spot to start to put my bag on the belt. So they're rightfully like, excuse me, didn't you just tell us to come up here? What are you doing? And he's like, oh, what? And they're like, do we have to stand in line all over again? And they're low-key looking at me like, cause she don't. And he's like,
no, just follow me.
I hand him my bag and I'm off. I look down at my clock and I see that it is about 9:30 and it says that the boarding doors are going to close soon. So I go through security as fast as I can and I have about 4 minutes until it says that the boarding doors are going to close. So I'm like literally running through people trying to get onto this flight because it's the last flight of the night. I run to the gate. Everybody just sitting there chilling. The plane don't even look like it's there. So I said, I am so and fucked I was, boys and girls. Within about 10 minutes, they come over the loudspeaker and say, attention, Spirit flight 995, outbound to Atlanta, Georgia. Your flight has now been delayed and will not leave until 12:30 a.m. 12:30 a.m. The flight was supposed to leave at 9:55. I've been at the airport since 10 a.m. I am hitting hour 12 in an airport or on an airplane, and only about 2 hours of that have been spent on a physical airplane. The rest of it has been in or at airports. Okay, so I find a little comfy cozy spot. I get on TikTok, I'm chilling until about midnight because I already knew it was up with Spirit. I knew that we weren't going to start boarding on time. I sit in my comfy cozy spot until about midnight. Then I'm like, okay, let me make my way back over to the gate that we're supposed to be at. Do you think a plane was even there for us? No. So, I settle back in, get comfy and cozy. So I'm minding my own business, and then I see a plane pull up, and I'm like, ooh, good. So, those people can unload, and then we can head out. Too bad there was no one on that plane. And in my head, I'm like, oh, so loading should be even faster because we don't have to wait for people to get off for them to clean the plane. We're sitting there. We watch the pilots get on there. I see the little boys driving around with the little things with the bags. So I'm like, oh yeah, they're loading our bags on. Cool. About 25 minutes passes. So at this moment, we should have been taking off. We haven't even started boarding yet. And at that time, we should have been taking off. We're coming up on about 1 a.m. And the guy comes on the speaker and he's like, hey, I know that you guys are probably pretty frustrated with us. But we're gonna get started boarding soon. What? What? I think that you thought he was being endearing or something, but you're literally not. Finally, the boarding process starts. I'm in zone 4. So I'm sitting there again, minding my business on TikTok. And all of a sudden I hear this yelling going on. And I'm too far away to know what the yelling is about. But baby, we were just getting started. And I know that the first 15-20 minutes of this video, you thought that oh, this is the story. This is just the appetizer, okay? Now we're getting to the main course. And then I hear this girl yelling at the Spirit employee. And then I hear people in line backing her up yo, just let her check in. Just let her go. Eventually security ends up coming over there and they won't let the girl get onto the plane essentially until the entire plane is loaded. And they not calling zones no more. I eventually figure out that man got cussed out and he not feeling too good about himself. So he not about to hop on that loudspeaker no more. I get onto the plane. I walk up to my seat and I'm riding middle bitch. I'm literally 4 rows back. So I see my seat almost immediately. I look at the woman who's on the aisle seat and I say, very politely, because she's old enough to be my mother. She's my mother's age. Hi, I'm actually in the middle of you guys. She goes, I shit you not. I said, here we go. She then proceeds to have 2 of her relatives help guide her up because her knee is broken. And I already know, I can already hear the silent judgment of y'all being Simone, first class ticket to hell. I know. She apparently can't bend her knee and she's just so injured. So she requires the people around her to help her up. And I'm just sitting there. I'm so happy I had that mask on because I promise you I was staring at her she gets helped up. Is it funny? And they're go ahead. So I scoot into the seat, and then there's this other man sitting on the side of me. And when I sat down, I said, it's giving mothballs. So it's this old man on the other side of me. He smells like mothballs and old man. And I'm amazing. I'm in the middle of mothballs and old man and the dramatics. I named her the Lady Baby, and she will continue to be called the Lady Baby. So she sits back down, and I shit you not, starts crying. She goes, crying. She is 65 years old, crying, sitting next to me, and I am literally like, I'm being punked. This is where we go downhill, okay? The flight attendant is like, are you okay, hun? Are you good, hun? Like trying to like rub her back, and she's like, he promised me that I wouldn't have to get up again. You're on the aisle seat. If you didn't want to get up again, then you should have been on the window seat. Then you wouldn't have to get up. You were on the aisle seat. This is a packed flight. What do you mean it's actually worse for you to be on the aisle because people are going to be walking past you. If your knee is really all that hurt or your leg is oh so hurt and you can't straighten it, there's no brace on her knee, there's nothing on her knee. So the only thing that's keeping your knee straight is you. No sense being made. And then here's her daughter behind her like, it's okay. You're okay. Like I could tell that they were like trying to be there for her, but then kind of like, because I feel like all of us felt like it's the dramatics for me. We're sitting there for about 30 minutes, and I didn't know this, but it was the same girl who was almost put off the flight before the flight even took off, was now starting to complain verbally about how we haven't taken off yet. You know, everyone's frustrated. At this point, it's about 1:15, 1:20 in the morning. The pilot is like sneaking out of the cockpit to go to the bathroom, and in my head I'm like, if you in the bathroom, you're not driving the plane. So he comes on to the announcement and he's like, hey everyone, thank you for your patience, sorry that we're running behind. Hopefully they get your bags loaded on here so that we can take off soon. Annoying, but you know, okay, cool. Not cool with the girl behind me. Here comes the
my gosh, like y'all is lying to us.
It progressed from snide comments to,
I'm not just about to keep on sitting on this plane because I'm not about to do this. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. I'm getting off the plane.
and then here comes our sister.
Yo, chill. Like, you're not about to get off this plane. Like, I'm so tired of you. Like, you always want to make a big scene.
Let me reiterate to you guys how big this flight was. There was at least a couple hundred people on this flight. So she tries to squeeze out of the seat. The sister's like, nah, bro, I'm not letting you out the seat. I'm not letting you out this seat.
No. Hell no. She ain't gonna get back on her, bro.
Okay, just let her out.
No. Bro. We've been on this flight too long. I'm ready to go.
I know.
We've been at the airport all day. We still on the plane. I ain't pulled out.
We know.
I'm ready. I don't care. I'm ready to go.
All right.
Then the pilot comes on and he says, hi everyone, we're still waiting for them to bring your bags over. And that's when shit gets real. A collective, oh my goodness, comes from everyone, because at this point it's about 1:30, 1:45 in the morning and our bags aren't even on the plane yet. Now this is when old girl loses it. She starts going in about how they're lying to us, something is wrong, she called the flight attendant over, what are y'all not telling us? And then this is where she had me f***ed up. She goes, it's not just me, everybody on the plane wants to know about what's wrong.
Nobody knows what's going on. Nothing. Now we want to know what's going on. Not just me, the whole flight. I was an hour and 30 minutes still loading.
After the man made the announcement and they called the flight attendant over to say that everybody was lying to them, she goes, this is the sister now, I didn't know the difference, but there was the main girl that was causing the issue before we even got on the flight, arguing with the person, was the last person to get on the flight because she was a security. Then her sister starts going off about how
Y'all motherfuckers is lying. Now y'all got me heated. I'm so heated in this bitch.
We all the same fucking color, y'all act like fucking white people. This shit pissing me off, y'all stupid as fuck. And I tell my cool all this time so fucking nigga. Listen, quit looking at me for a speak. I'm saying, nigga, folks got me hot. I'm mad as fuck.
So she storms off into the bathroom. So she comes out the bathroom and she's like, I'm cool now, I'm cool now. Literally no one asked her if he was cool. They sit down and they're quiet for a little longer. And then the pilot goes, hey, they just started loading our bags. It is now 2 a.m. Keep in mind, this was supposed to be a 12:30 takeoff time. Originally a 9:55 takeoff time. It is now 2 a.m. and they have halfway loaded our luggage onto the plane. This is when they start arguing with the pilot through the speakers as if he can hear them. And in my head I said, pilot, do not leave that cockpit. They are going to fight you. The man goes off of the announcements, maybe like 5 minutes past police silence, and then all I hear is,
fuck it, I'm getting off this plane and get my bags off this flight.
you say get my bags off this flight, and like looks back over her shoulder a little bit. I'm like, okay, so you want attention. Okay, so you're frustrated, but you want attention. You're talking about something, get me off this flight, get me off this flight. Baby girl, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna wait for the next plane to come at 6 o'clock in the morning? Like, what are you gonna do? Because, and then your bags are not coming off that flight. They're not gonna be like, let's find Kimberly's bags and bring them off of the flight. Like, let's do that. They're not gonna do that. Your bags are going to Atlanta. I'm so sorry to break it to you. They storm off the plane. I thought they was going, child. I was okay with it. Then another girl comes up. I'm pretty sure she's having a panic attack. She was trying to keep it on the low, but I could tell the baby was having a panic attack, child. So she's like, I'm having a panic attack. I just need to stand next to the door. She's having a panic attack. The one behind me calls up the flight attendant and she's like,
I would like to speak to your manager.
Yeah, I know. They don't know though, girl. I done talked to 2 people. They don't know.
They are gonna know.
Oh, they going to know. Yeah. Because I talked to 2 representatives. Nobody know, and the phone disconnect when I'm on hold for a manager.
what manager? You are on an airplane. What manager are you speaking to? You're on Spirit. You're on Spirit. We all knew we were signing up for, okay? We all knew when we signed our name on the dotted line, we said we may or may not make it in one piece. You may or may not have to fly the plane yourself. Like, that was in the fine print. All this commotion is all happening at the same time. And then we're about to start to prepare to kind of take off. So they actually tell me that I cannot have even a purse at my feet. So the flight attendant is like, hey, can I get your purse up off of you? I'm going to put it above you in the overhead compartment. And I handed her my purse, no problem. Now the lady baby next to me, she is resting her leg on her purse. I already knew it was gonna happen when she asked to take that bag. So the flight attendant asked her too, like, hey mama, can I get your bag from you? The flight attendant is like, no ma'am, it's fine, you keep it. All of the crew comes back on the plane. They're like,
apparently we gotta leave, y'all.
At this point, it is about 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, and we are just now about to take off. We take off, and the old man next to me that smell like mothballs, he proceeds to, lay his little head back, start snoring, child. Before we even take off, the man is snoring, child. Lady baby next to me is on her phone, and I'm acting like I'm on TikTok, as we're about to take off, and I'm looking over. I can just tell what type of woman she is. I just put together so much about her personality and the type of person that she is. She literally has like a screenshot of like, think of the most like non-reputable source of information you could think of, and the title of the article is like, young man dies after receiving COVID vaccine. And she screenshotted it and she's like sending it to like various people throughout her phone. Do y'all ever had that auntie to just be sending y'all shit and you just like, auntie, this is literally a report by the National Enquirer. When I'm like scrolling like this, like, but I'm like moving my thumb, but like looking over her phone. And then when she goes to her pictures, she had all type of shit on her phone. It was a picture of the injury. Like they were literally like laying in a hospital bed and like their elbow was like cut open. And then there was someone else, like their intestines were sticking outside of them. And I was just looking over like, what the fuck is going on? It was just giving very much old auntie vibes. Like you just have random shit in your phone. Like what? The lady baby was actually pretty nice. As nice as she could be. Halfway during the flight, I cracked my little eye open because I guess I fell asleep at one point. Guess who got their leg bent? Guess who got their leg bent? The lady baby. The lady baby. Her knee was giving very much this. I knew I wasn't going straight to hell first class flight. I felt in my soul that she was lying. I felt in my soul, I felt it. So we end up getting to our destination, child. It is coming up on it's about 4:30 when we land. Keep in mind, my original flight was supposed to land at 10 p.m. As soon as we exit the flight, the airport is empty. The girls, the group of girls weren't too far behind me, like seat wise. So as soon as we got off the plane, I'm walking. I am halfway awake and all I hear is,
Don't fly spirit, y'all. Y'all gonna be delayed.
who are you talking to? That's how I know that you just want attention. Because who are you talking to? I keep on walking, child. And the Atlanta airport is absolutely massive. If you've never been to Atlanta, the airport is massive. And because of that, they use trams and like trains to get through everything. Half of the trains were closed, so I had to walk most of the way. Me and everybody else had to walk most of the way to baggage claim. I emphasize all of this because in my head I was like, yeah, it's 4:30 in the morning. Literally no one else is here. Like our bags should like come straight through because it took me a little while to walk here. Nope. We get up there to get our bags and I'm one of the first people over there, as I always am. I like stand right next to where the bags drop out so that when my bag drops, I can get my bag and make my way out, because I had to Uber to get to my car and then get to my car and drive home because my car was parked at a friend's house. I'm trying my hardest to like time it correctly. Child, so I said as soon as the belts start rolling, I'm gonna request my Uber. The belts start rolling, so I request my Uber. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be here in like 10-15 minutes. That's gonna be cool. I shit you not. A bag dropped and then 30 full seconds passed. Another bag dropped. 30 full seconds passed. Another bag dropped. The slowest shit I've ever in my life, to the point where I had to cancel my thing, pay a cancellation fee. Eventually, I'm one of the first people to get my bags. I don't know why the Lord be blessing me, but I'm one of the first people to get my bags. I request my Uber. Child, I get in that Uber, I get in my car, and I come home. That brings us to the end of this video. Just for reference, I laid my head down on my pillow at 6 a.m. It was the worst experience of my life. I will never, ever, if you catch me on another Spirit flight, take my credit card, take my life, take everything from me. That is a very long-winded story of why I will never be flying Spirit again. I figured that if I had to go through that, then y'all have to go through listening to this fucking 35-minute long video about why I will never be flying Spirit again. If I can get my money back from Spirit, then I need to pay for my 19 hours that I had to spend with Spirit. So run this video up. Thank you. If you would like to see more of my shenanigans, then you can watch my show airing every week over on Snapchat called Swipe Talk. If you would like to check out more of my story times, then I'm sure that there's a playlist on screen for you to do so, because I am a funny bitch. And I'm funny in every single video, but especially in my story times. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Remember to keep positivity in your life, because positivity breeds positivity, and we have no time for negativity in 2021. Got a blast.